Haley, I am so curious as to how the logistics of all this work. So how do you make Disney your classroom?
So it kind of just looks a little bit like traditional school and a little bit like going to Disney. So in our mornings, we typically will do a little bit more sit-down curriculum type things. And then in the afternoons, usually we will head to the parks and do a little bit more hands-on learning.
Okay, so when you're in the parks, how do you use the unique aspects of each park to teach different subjects? Like, how do you use Epcot versus the Animal Kingdom versus the Magic Kingdom and so on?
Yeah, so at Epcot, of course, there's a lot of geography and different cultures. So we're talking about food and languages, maybe art. And then Animal Kingdom, of course, we're learning about different animal habitats, conservation. And then Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, of course, we're learning about creativity, performance, imagination, storytelling, all those type of things.
Haley, I'm sure this has naysayers. What do you say to critics who say, look, Disney is about entertainment and not education?
Obviously, it's not traditional school, but I think that's okay. I think, learning in hands-on ways is always going to be something that's helpful for kids. So it may not be for everybody, but I think for us, it works. So I think as long as you are doing something that works for your kids, whether that's in your city, may not look like going to Disney every day, but however that works for your kids, I think that's great.
Okay, well,
what could go wrong? However that works for your kids. Well, let's find out where those kids end up.
Yes, we'll have to get back to this story in a couple years, but obviously they live in Orlando, so anyone who has children not from that very specific little region, an ability to drive to the park and to have a yearly membership that doesn't cost you a second mortgage on your home is able to do this. The rest of us, we just go out to the local park for the nature, or we have to go to the library or something like that. Am I going to criticize her as being like, how dare you go to Disney and use that as an educational opportunity? No, absolutely. Go do it. I question, how often is that, like every day they're going to the park and this is where we're going to learn history and this is where we're going to learn culture. Like, that would be bad. But according to her, and there are other moms who obviously are a part of this, they say Epcot can be like the global classroom. If you've been to Epcot, there are 11 countries. You can eat different cuisine from those countries. You can look at, the architecture that they've made and talk to the cast members. So the characters, I guess. In Animal Kingdom, it could be a science lab where you can observe animals and explore conservation messaging. I mean, I feel like you could just go to the zoo for that one as well, but it's okay. Magic Kingdom introduces lessons in storytelling, engineering. Think about how those animatronics move. If you've been to Disney, especially to Magic Kingdom, those animatronics are from, I think, when Walt originally opened the park so many moons ago. And you could even do an economics lesson on when it comes to budgeting and snack credits or understanding souvenir pricing. There could be some twists in there, but it would take whatever parent, mom, dad, or anyone else, you have to be diligent about it. I mean, you have to be very specific and getting whoever the children are to have them be focused and not just, oh, look, let's go on this ride next. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about whatever. Like you have to have them be able to really hone into what you're doing.
I have a lot of thoughts on this, but I want to just jump on what you've said at the last there, that kids at a theme park where it's all about entertainment and the Disney characters, of course they're going to be distracted, right? But this is about homeschooling. And so I'm very skeptical. Not like you said, I'm sure one trip there, you can take them to certain places, you can teach kids certain things. But as an ongoing thing, I mean, I read there that the families spend between $3,000 and $5,000 a year on park tickets, on dining, on Disney merch, of course. And so if they can do it, great. But again, I'd like to see exactly how much they're learning and where their kids, how far ahead their kids get when they're there. I'm sure they're just there to learn. They're not going to go on any rides, right, Katie?
Well, I mean, that would be part of engineering or math skills and the
that's
the
right.
speeds and everything and angles and all of that, right? Right? Eh?
Yeah, she didn't look quite equipped to talk about engineering, at least that young
As
mom
much.
didn't,
But if you do stop and think about it, like, you really could develop a lot of lessons on it, but it would take, again, a mom or dad or whoever's the teacher, a lot of work on their part to make sure they're accurate
Yeah,
and
a little
having like
discipline.
a little discipline and intense lessons that really they get something out of it. But there was one mom who also talked about what they would do. Now that mom, by the way, who did speak, was a former teacher, and so is this mom, Holly Leary. She's a former middle school teacher. She said even a ride like Pirates of the Caribbean becomes a lesson in economic history. We talked about whether piracy hurt or helped global trade. And she said it's kind of a conversation that sticks more than any textbook page. I mean, when you put it, if you do that much research and understand, then yeah, I guess you could. But again, are you talking the younger grades? I don't know if they'd be focused enough for any of that, and who knows. But mom and dad, don't feel like you have to do this. If you're a homeschooling parent, don't feel like, oh no, now everyone's going to Disney. Now I have to go to Disney. Absolutely not. Go to your local library. It's free. And they probably have free passes, especially during the summer times, to go to various museums for free, to maybe even go to the zoo for free, to get out and just explore nature. That's free. So don't feel like you have to keep up with the Joneses on this one if this is becoming a homeschool mom trend. You don't have to
That's
jump
right.
on that train, okay?